sort of a folksy, bluegrassy country song is Tell Me Why by Neil Young from his early album, 1970, After the Goldrush. And although the version on After the Goldrush is tuned down about a step and a half, about 3/4 of a step, and makes it a little tough to play along with him, but there are a lot of live versions out there. But I've put together a lesson on this that talks about a lot of stuff in the song that is just, there are some great techniques in there. Hitting bass notes and strumming, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, some unusual chords. You can throw in some of Neil's palm muting techniques that are used in other songs a little bit more commonly. So, but the lesson on this covers all that kind of stuff. We start with the chord progression, understanding it, C's, D's, A minor 7s, G's, that kind of stuff, and there's a B minor, does have a bar chord, everything in there. But, and then pretty normal techniques of just hitting bass notes, and then some fancy little runs that come out of the country and bluegrass world. So the lesson on this is up now in the Target program at TotallyGuitars. There are also a lot of free lessons there in the TG Free Lessons channel here at YouTube and over at TotallyGuitars as well. But here's a little excerpt of some of the stuff that happens in the lesson. If you'd like to check it out, be sure to come visit us at TotallyGuitars.com. This is, of course, Neil Young at his classic folksy, bluegrassy best, with a song going way back, 1970. This is Tell Me Why, from this album, his third solo album, After the Goldrush, and one of my prized possessions, because this is one of the first albums I bought when I was a teenager, and I was just amazed by everything on it. The picture on the inside, the white falcon sitting there. Oh, it's not in this picture. Wrong picture. That's in the one with him. But the Martin, Fender bass, Les Paul. Oh, there it is. Yes, thought so. Anyway, and again, just weird artwork. Big, picture of his patched jeans on the back. But great tunes. Things like, of course, Only Love Can Break Your Heart, Southern Man, Tell Me Why, Birds. And back then, of course, albums came with cool stuff, like a lyric page that had words to all the songs in his own writing. And even a set list that could have been a list of songs that were maybe going to be performed, although maybe they were songs that were supposed to make this album. Many of these didn't. Oh Lonesome Me, Wonderin' showed up later. Everybody's Alone didn't make the album. Sugar Mountain went elsewhere. Sea of Madness went elsewhere, showed up on Woodstock. Big Waves didn't happen here. Dance, Dance, Dance showed up later. Birds showed up here. I Need Her Love to Get By. Anyway, kind of cool stuff back in those days. And there are versions of this in lots of other places. One of this is on one of my other prized possessions, a collector's item album of his called I'm Happy That Y'all Came Down. And there are a lot of versions of him playing this in different, well, not different tunings, but tuned at different levels. And on After the Goldrush, it's almost 2 steps low. It's almost 1 step low. It's 3/4 of a step low. And so I don't recommend playing along with that, but there are some later live versions that are either a full step low or even at standard pitch. And we'll talk about mostly these acoustic versions. He does, as is typical of almost all of his songs, lots and lots of variations. There is no exact right way to play this song. There's not even an exact chord progression that can't be altered in a few places. And I did something in one of the verses there that I didn't do in another. I played a little bit of a solo that was just kind of improvised. We'll talk about all of that. So first we're going to learn the chord progression. It's a pretty standard strumming technique, being able to hit bass notes and keep downs going. So we'll talk about the downs and ups on the 4 beats in any measure. We're talking about the song here in 4/4 time. So we just need to hit bass notes, and then we're going to embellish them with some hammer-ons and some little runs. bass runs connecting one chord to another. We might look at a fancier tag. Some little fancy ending that we could throw in that is, again, a little bit more of a bluegrass style run. But this song's pretty straightforward, pretty easy chords, but a little bit of tricky fingerings on a few of them, and we'll talk about that. And at the end of this, you should be able to play through your own version of Tell Me Why and make up some of your own little fills and runs and other things like that. So, take a look at the chords, take a look at the picking, the strumming, really, and we will look at the progression and then add some embellishments to it, and that's this lesson. Coming up, Tell Me Why.